final quarter of the 2025 Motul FIM Superbike World Championship is our annual Iberian Tour. Just as last year, we head to the climax of the campaign in Aragon, Estoril and Jerez. You join us from the picturesque province of Teruel, just outside Alcañiz, where the busiest spell of this season, just 9 races in just 4 weeks, is about to begin. Motorland Aragon was built between 2005 and 2009 and has been ever present on our calendar since the first Aragon round in 2011. This is now the only track we visit that is longer than 5 kilometres, so our feature-length races will be just 18 laps, but still a 90-kilometre distance. Almost 30 seconds per lap here are spent on the brakes, with no less than 8 corners taken at less than 100 kilometres per hour, including turn 1, the heaviest braking zone here at the end of the 630-metre start-finish straight. Last season, the overtakes for first place in race 1 took place at turn 5. Turns 4 and 7 are both chances to pass 2 before the drop in elevation in the slower sector 2. But the main overtaking hotspot is the section of the track from turns 15 to 16. This is where the Ducati is at its best. Alvaro Bautista made passes on Nicolo Bulliger and Toprak Razgatlioglu into turn 15 last season, and the 968-metre back straight, some 334 kph, the fastest recorded speed, also plays to their strengths. Nine race wins for Nicolo Bulliger, and he would be crowned the 2025 World Champion. The first problem is he has only 3 rounds to do it, and thus far it's taken him 9 rounds to win 8 races. And the second problem, Toprak Razgatlioglu stands in his way. Toprak has 10 wins more than Bulliger, his 18 victories this season, as many as he managed in the whole of last year. Bulliger will look forward to Estoril and Jerez still to come, where he and Toprak shared 3 wins each. But trailing by 39 points, he needs much more than just to match his rival to bring himself into contention. Alex Raby and Steve English for race 1 of the 2025 Tissot Aragon round. And Steve, much as Nicolo Bulliger has done well to record 15 second places and limit the damage of Toprak's rampage, it is really win or bust from here on in for Bulliger.
Yeah, it has to be, and for Bulliger, he's done the first thing he has to do this weekend. He's taken pole position, half a second faster than what had been the lap record, so really impressive in this morning's session. But now we're into the 18-lap race. This is where the real test is, and it will come down to whether or not Bulliger can go with Toprak.
4 rounds unbeaten for Toprak Razgatlioglu, but Nicolo Bulliger has taken 10 second places in that spell to avoid becoming too detached on points. A gap over 200 points to Danilo Petrucci. It's a mathematical certainty that one of Razgatlioglu or Bulliger will take this title. At Magny-Cours last time out, the gap's opened further between the 3 contenders for bronze. Danilo Petrucci now with a 24-point advantage over Andrea Locatelli, and Alvaro Bautista lost another 5 points to the Yamaha man. 39 points the gap at the top. It took 13 races for Toprak to make back that margin earlier in the season with 8 consecutive wins. Nicolo Bulliger has only 9 races to do it.
Yeah, and that's where for Bulliger he knows that he needs luck on his side. He needs Toprak to have problems. He needs non-scores for Razgatlioglu if he's going to win this championship. And that's also where you need to be realistic about what's going to happen between now and the end of the season. For Bulliger, he needs to make sure he's able to win races, bring the fight to Toprak, and see what happens over those 9 races. But realistically, they're each a battle on their own, and I think Bulliger's aware of that.
4 rounds unbeaten. Toprak Razgatlioglu totally dominant at Magny-Cours last time out. Took the circuit record, his 11th win at what is one of his favourite circuits. Here at Motorland Aragon, by contrast, he has never been a winner, although he has had 9 consecutive podiums, including 3 second places here on what was his first round back from injury last year.
Yeah, and for Toprak, this is a track that on the Kawasaki and his early days on the Yamaha, he did struggle at quite a bit, but over the last few years, he's obviously been able to find that form from 2021 onwards. He's been able to be a really strong contender here, so it's a little bit of an anomaly that we don't have that race victory here yet for him.
Nicolo Bulliger with 2nd place in all but 2 races in the last 4 rounds. Costly non-scores in the Superpole races at the Emilia-Romagna round and the Hungarian round, where wrong decision on a tyre choice cost him 12 points to Toprak Razgatlioglu there. Toprak, though, clear 39 points at the top of the World Championship standings. Separate fight for 3rd overall. Danilo Petrucci leading Andrea Locatelli by 24 points after making background last time out in Magny-Cours. Locatelli cost himself a lot of points once at the French round with a crash in the Superpole session, had to come through the field, couldn't score in the Superpole race, and Petrucci now has relative control over that third overall.
Yeah, for Petrucci, he's got the bike underneath him to know that he's going to have those strong weekends between now and the end of the season. He's also consistently finished in that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th position through the season, so he's scored good points all the way through the campaign.
Great weekend last time out in France for Alex Lowe's, with 3 third-place finishes from 4th on the grid. Was expected to be tougher for the Bimotor, particularly because of the ground they're giving up at top-end pace in the final sector. But Lowe's capitalising on a little bit of a toe from his brother Sam in the Superpole session earlier on today, and Alex will complete the front row of the grid alongside Bulliger and Razgatlioglu.
Yeah, and a really good lap from Lowe's to be able to get himself onto that front row, and a second front row of the season for him. And we've been able to see on that Bimotor that the Superpole really does dictate everything. If you have to come through the field, it's really difficult. At least for Lowe's from that front row of the grid, he'll give himself the chance of being able to score good results this weekend.
Final weekend in Motorland Aragon for Jonathan Rea before his retirement from full-time competition. Second best of his Superpole results this season. He'll be lining up on the middle of the third row of the grid. And Jonathan Rea has been a little more pugnacious in recent rounds. It's taken a long time for him to start even to get to grips with the Yamaha, but a 5th and a 6th at Donington Park, then a 6th place in race 2 in Magny-Cours. We saw a little bit of the Jonathan Rea evolve. Yeah,
and for Johnny, that race 2 in particular, we just saw how combative and competitive he can still be, and we saw just how much he still wants to win races and how much he wants to be able to challenge at the front. And from the third row of the grid, he'll certainly think that he's going to have an opportunity to be in those top 5 spots through turn 1.
Yeah, still a big shame, isn't it, for World SBK to lose Toprak, Razgatlioglu and Jonathan Rea at the end of this season. Let's take you through a look at the Superpole session from earlier on today then. Nicolo Bulliger lowers his lap record benchmark by half a second for his first pole position since Misano, and the 8th in his 2 years in World SBK. Toprak Razgatlioglu's run of 3 consecutive poles is brought to an end. Alex Lowe's claims his 25th career front row start, his second with Bimotor, by beating his brother for 3rd. Sam Lowe's, Petrucci and Bautista well placed on the 2nd row. Bautista's best Superpole effort since Cremona. Last year's winner, Andrea Iannone, only P7, but all of the top 7 beating last year's pole lap. Ray Top Yamaha with his best this season other than Donington. Axel Bassani qualified 11th, but he must start from the back of the grid for a yellow flag infringement.
Yeah, and a lot of work to do for Bassani, but at least for race 2 tomorrow, he'll still be able to use that qualifying time and give himself the opportunity to still have a good haul of points tomorrow. He'll start from the 4th row of the grid.
Yes, his eyes will be on the Superpole race, try and get up into those top 9 positions and give himself a shot in race 2 tomorrow afternoon. Just a question of what points he might be able to salvage here from the 8th row of the grid, but real shame for him for a free practice infringement to then take you out of the running in an 18-lap race 1 here this afternoon, as we see the riders starting to make their way towards the grid. And it was a great head-to-head we had in that Superpole session earlier on today between Bulliger and Razgatlioglu.
It was a great battle all the way through those leading couple of rows of the grid, because we had Bulliger coming late, and he was bringing with him Petrucci and Iannone up onto the front 3 rows of the grid. Then you had Alex Lowe's trailing behind his brother Sam to push him onto the front row of the grid. Toprak was out there pushing his own air and able to set fast lap times, but just not quite fast enough, and that's what sets up nicely for the opening race of the weekend.
Yes, we've got the top 2 in the championship going head-to-head, 1st and 2nd positions, as they have done for the vast majority of rounds this season in those Superpole sessions. A couple of exceptions. Toprak 3rd on the grid in Assen and Cremona, and Nicolo Bulliger off the front row of the grid, of course, in Balaton Park. But other than that, practically imperious, the pair of them. Nicolo Bulliger then with his 4th pole position of the campaign. 15 second places for him last year, 15 second places for him this year. So familiar territory for Bulliger. He's had to play second fiddle all too often to Toprak Razgatlioglu.
Yeah, ultimately, when you look at his season, you can see those 4 blips, and some of them were his fault, some of them weren't. And Hungary was certainly his issue there, making the wrong tyre choice in the Superpole race. Technical issues in the Dutch round, being taken out by Axel Bassani at Misano. Those missed points add up. But Toprak can point to the same for himself as well, so both of them have had their misfortunes. Yeah,
I would say that Bulliger's had more misfortune than this man, Razgatlioglu, and imagine what a championship we'd be looking forward to now, coming into Aragon, Estoril, Jerez, where the Ducati goes well, where Bulliger, the final 2 rounds, went really well last season, more or less neck and neck. Instead, a 39-point margin. And look at the sheer level of consistency of Toprak. That means that 39 points becomes massive when this is what you're going up against.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You've no margin for error when you're up against Razgadioglu right now, and Ducati ultimately have needed that. And for Bulaga, that is the difference between coming to these final 3 races of the year, feeling like you've got a real chance of the championship, or just trying to hope for a bit of good fortune.
Alex Lowes completes the front row of the grid, was a second row starter last time out in Magny-Cours, and came away with 3 third places and a big 39-point haul, best yet for Motor this season. 50th World SBK podium as well for Alex Lowes. He's really racked them up over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Lowes has been really strong and consistent over the last couple of seasons. He's done a good job with the Moto project this year as well, just to find that pace and performance as the year's worn on.
Second row of the grid for Sam Lowes, Danilo Petrucci and Alvaro Bautista, all Ducati second row of the grids. And each of those riders will feel they've got a chance to be on the podium here this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think that second row is going to be really good to follow all the way through. We know Bautista is going to be strong as the race progresses, and he's actually done a decent job to qualify in the second row of the grid, because qualifying has been his big issue over the course of the last couple of seasons.
Superpole award being made to Nicolo Bulliger, his first pole since the Emilia-Romagna round, second on the grid at Donington Park and Magny-Cours, ending a run of 3 consecutive pole positions for Toprak Razgatlioglu. So Bulliger pulled something back at the start of this weekend, and that will inspire him with confidence for the 18 laps that lie ahead.
Yeah, it has to, and this is a track that suits his style. From super sport into super bikes, he's been able to show that consistency, and he's really good around this place because it allows you to flow from one corner to the other.
Sam Lowes starts P4, experienced campaigner here at Motorland Aragon, of course, from his Moto 2 days. Only had 1 race here last season, a race 1 crash. So you'd expect Sam Lowes to be able to challenge. He did say to me at the end of the day yesterday, final sector was a little bit of a weakness. Didn't look too much like it in the Superpole session earlier on today. Had great pace. Yeah,
this is a track that Sam's had probably his best days in his Grand Prix career, where he's been able to run away from the field in Moto 2 and win races by big margins. So this is a place that suits him well. He's had good memories around here. Obviously, he'd be a bit disappointed to not be on the front row of the grid, but you're still in a position to challenge for a podium.
This is Alvaro Bautista. He completes the second row of the grid. And if Sam Lowes' record around this place is impressive, Alvaro Bautista's is simply stunning. 2019 here, he led every lap of the weekend. He was the top scorer here last season as well. 50 points his tally, including 2 wins on the Sunday. But that was his last victory, and Bautista desperate to get back to winning ways.
Yeah, even whenever you see his performances here on the Honda, for 2 years, whenever he really didn't do much on the Honda, he had a podium here, he had top 4 finishes. He's always strong at this track.
That takes us through to the end of the second row of the grid. Then first opportunity to head down to our pit reporter, Dave Goddard.
Yes, down on the grid with Sam Lowes. Sam, your brother said you helped him onto the front row earlier on, but now trying to fly back for a podium position in the race. A strong weekend for you so far.
Yeah, really happy with the pace. I was really happy with how I've been qualifying. I'm surprised he did a good one behind, but it was a fast pace all the guys. So I've worked hard. I have good pace. I feel like we're in the podium battle. So start good first laps. I think the top 2 guys have a little bit more, but this race is about learning and finding the areas we can improve for tomorrow and do a solid job. So can't wait to get going.
Best of luck. Thanks, Sam.
Cheers.
Yes, Sam and Alex do like winding one another up a little bit, don't they? But 3rd and 4th on the grid here, you'd expect Sam to have the advantage in terms of race pace, but a lot of the Ducatis are going to be strong over the 18-lap distance here.
Yeah, the one thing we know is that Alex won't make too many mistakes during the race. He'll stay in contention. Sam needs to maximise what he has and give himself that chance of a podium.
Andrea Iannone scored 44 points here at the Aragon round last season, dominated race 1, his first and so far only victory. Hasn't led a lap since in World SBK.
Yeah, for Iannone, we know that there's some places where he's going to go that he's going to be really strong. He needs some good results to finish off the season, and he'll try and start it off here in Aragon.
Alongside him on row number 3, Jonathan Ray and Andrea Locatelli, the first of the Yamahas. And Jonathan Ray, equal circuit records around Motorland Aragon with the 9 victories. Just a quick statistical note, took his 100th career win here in Motorland Aragon in 2021. He's only had 19 wins since. 12 in the remainder of 2021, 6 in 2022, and his latest in 2023. This will be his 50th start with Yamaha. It's been an unhappy spell.
Yeah, it has been a tough run for him. You can see Beatrice nail it down there on the grid as well, and Beatrice smiling as ever down there with the Paddy Yamaha team. Nice to be able to see Johnny able to give a shout out to Jake for his birthday as well.
Yes, going to be able to enjoy more of those moments, of course, come the end of this season when he retires from full-time competition. A big weekend for birthdays in World SVK. Completing the third row of the grid here, it's Andrea Locatelli. P9 for Locker. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed with that, because at the end of free practice, he was in good fettle at the end of the day yesterday. It's a tough task, though, when you're up against all of those Ducatis around him. And Yamaha, we heard from Paul Denning at the start of the weekend, expecting to be a little bit on the back foot around this venue, where Locker's still yet to claim a first podium. Yeah,
and I think that certainly it was one of those cases for Locatelli where you're just trying to give yourself that extra opportunity to make that small step, but it's difficult on the Yamaha around here as well.
Yeah, it could be a scrap for damage limitation for Andrea Locatelli. Much as it was last time out, of course, salvaged his weekend in Magny-Cours. Finished right behind Danilo Petrucci in both feature-length races, despite coming from the back of the grid following a crash in the Superpole session. And Locatelli finds himself a little bit on the back foot here. If he can keep it close on points, anything can happen at the final two rounds. Should be better ones for the Yamaha, particularly Estoril, you might fancy. Yeah,
and when you look at it with Ray, Locatelli, Gardner, all 8th, 9th and 10th on the grid, it does show that they got the most they can out of that Yamaha package during the course of the Superpole session. It's just quite difficult around a track like this, but they do have good top speed because they exit turn 15 well.
Remy Gardner started the week strongly in Magny-Cours last time out, a 6th place finish for him in race 1. Best result for him here in Aragon was a 7th place in race 1 of the 2023 Aragon round. Remy Gardner also a podium finisher here in Moto 2 in 2021.
Yeah, and for Remy, we were able to see that he was on the back of the group with Alex and Sam Lowes during the end of that Superpole session, just not quite able to get the full lap hooked up like he would have wanted.
It is Mr. VDS himself here celebrating Sam Lowes, and Lowes will be starting 4th on the grid here. Loves his racing, and Sam Lowes has given him every reason to enjoy it this season.
Yeah, he really does love his racing, Mark, and great to be able to see him here this weekend. And the support that you see from Van der Straten for the team is huge, and it makes a big difference for the championship to see people look to come in for the independent teams and put those resources here.
Yeah, great coup for the championship, as you say, and we said it at the time when it was announced before last season. Let's continue on with the 4th row of the grid. This is Michael van der Mark. He's lining up P11. Boy, has he had his smile back on his face since Magny-Cours last time out. 2 5th places on the Sunday there at the French round. 16 points, equaling, well, it was his best result since Cremona. So it's been a miserable spell in Moss, Misano, Donington and Balaton Park. Van der Mark, speaking to him yesterday, said he felt that he'd been able to carry over the pace. 2 very different circuits, Magny-Cours to Aragon. So that's a promising sign for the remainder of this campaign as far as Van der Mark is concerned. Xavi Vierge, you see here, departs Honda at the end of this season. Still waiting for an announcement on his future, but heavily linked with the Yamaha factory ride to replace Jonathan Ray at the official team. And this man is Iker Lecuona, of course the regular teammate to Xavi Vierge. But Iker unfortunately out injured at present, and a couple of rounds he's missed already.
Yeah, and for Iker, we'll wait and see if he comes back for those final couple of rounds. You wouldn't be too surprised if he sits them out as well, but big opportunity for him next year whenever he moves to the Aruba Ducati squad.
As we move on to row number 5 with Dominic Egerter, Ryan Vickers and Garrett Gerloff. Dominic Egerter, who missed the 2024 Aragon round due to injury, but was a race winner here in 2022 in Supersport. He strung together 4 consecutive top 10 finishes. I think that's roughly the target for Egerter on the Yamaha at this stage of the season.
Yeah, along with Jake Ray and Marius, and Dom Jager are about to celebrate his birthday as well at the end of this weekend.
Yes, Ryan Vickers lining up P14, and sorry, you've caught me completely on the hop there. Vickers and Garrett Gerloff on row number 5. And Vickers, 30 race starts under his belt now in the Superbike World Championship. 3 points for him last time out in Magny-Cours. There've been a couple of sparks, haven't there? Top 10 finish in the Superpole race in Assen, 7th in the Superpole race at the Hungarian round last time out. And just they've been too few and far between as far as Ryan Vickers is concerned.
Yeah, and for Vickers, that's why there's the question mark about the future for him as well. And he's had those good occasions this season and just needs to put more of them together.
Completing row number 5, Garrett Gerloff, who had a big 32-point score here at the Aragon round last season on the BMW. Let's run you through the rest of the grid. Jari Montella, Taz McKenzie, Bahatin Sofoglu, Tito Rabat, Michael Ruben Rinaldi and Tommy Bridewell, Zakwan Zaidi and the penalised Axel Bassani starting at the back. Dave, back down to you.
Yes, I'm here with Ika Lekwona. First of all, how's the injury and when we likely to see you back, do you know?
Yeah, everything goes well. Last check, doctor said it was perfect. Then I can go back. I started training quite well. The gym Monday from the yesterday week, I have the last check before Israel. So that Monday, in 2 Mondays, I know if I can go to Israel race or not. Our doctor managed.
That all sounds very positive, and of course, since we last spoke to you, you've joined the factory Ducati squad for next year. Big things, you look forward to the big step in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy, of course. I need to see that the trainer recover well, and I try to be in the last 2 rounds with Honda because I'm very happy with them, and will be so good to finish. And then in injuries or next year, I start to think about the Ducati.
Great talk to you. I hope to see you.
Thank you. See you.
Well, I thought it was worth sticking with that interview because Ika Lekwona, high-profile story. He moves on to the second factory Ducati next season. He's here to support Honda, but I suspect he's here to keep an eye on what's going on at the Aruba factory as well. Moving up towards the front row of the grid, and his teammate for next season, Nicolo Bulliger, will be starting from pole position here this afternoon as he and Toprak Razgatlioglu go head-to-head, chasing their first race victories here at Motorland Aragon. Motorland Aragon is almost a neutral venue in the ongoing rivalry between Toprak Razgatlioglu and Nicolo Bulliger, with the balance of power between the two of them here unclear. Last year, Nicolo Bulliger suffered a Race 1 mechanical retirement that decimated his title hopes, while we didn't see the best of Toprak as he returned after 2 rounds out injured. Razgatlioglu still hasn't been a race winner at the Aragon round with any of the 3 manufacturers he's represented in World SBK. Rather, the last 8 races here have been won by 3 different Ducati riders, and it is crucial for Nicolo Bulliger that he be the man to extend that run here. Alex Raby and Steve English bringing you race 1 of the 2025 Tissot Aragon round. Toprak chasing a record-equaling 13th consecutive victory. To do it, he'll have to take his first win here and break Ducati's dominance at this venue.
Yeah, the Superpole session showed just how close it could be during the course of this race, but 18 laps is going to be a long race around Motorland Aragon. This is a track that can be quite tough on tyres. That's why for this weekend, Pirelli has brought a much harder allocation to the fore for the teams and riders. Everyone out there using the same rear tyres, that's not a big concern for any of the riders. Front tyre life has been a bit of a concern for some riders. Bulliger on pole position, Razgatlioglu from the middle of the front row of the grid, Sam Lowe's from the second row of the grid. They're out there with the harder front tyre, and most of the rest of the front runners out there using the softer SC1 front tyre.
Yeah, Sam said to me at the end of the day yesterday that he felt a great deal more confident and comfortable once he made that change, had started on the softer tyre. So, as always, just about the feeling for the